Hey YouTube land, Tech Anders here, doing another action figure review, and today we're having a look at one of the new for 2024 Turtles of Grayskull subline. This was announced last year at one of the, I think it was either San Diego Comic Con or one of the toy conventions or Toy Fair, I'm not sure which, but it was announced last year that they were going to be doing, actually it wasn't even announced last year, I think it was actually announced just earlier this year. It may have been just back in December, I could be wrong. It was late in the fall, I believe, at least last year or early this year, that they were going to be doing this line. And it is a crossover Turtles and Masters of the Universe line. So as you can look here on the box, you have, this is one of the deluxe figures. It's one of 4, so there is 4 other deluxe figures to come along that will have parts to this, or parts for what's included with this. So this is Masters of the Universe, and you have the Turtles logo down here. Now, these are kind of stickers on the front of the box. You have this Grayskull kind of, or not Grayskull, but this kind of purplish kind of Snake Mountain almost motif for the background, with the ooze from the turtles flowing through it, which is kind of cool. And you have like sewer piping going on as well. And then flipping around to the back of the box, this is the box for Mouse-jaw. So this is basically a mutated version of Trapjaw. So as the write-up says, unbeknownst to him, Trapjaw was the first of Krang's ooze experiments. The cybernetic walking weapon of destruction fused with Baxter Stockman's Mouser technology, making him a mindless minion in Skeletor's mutant army. And then on the box cover you see Leonardo from the crossover and Teela in her kind of turtle-inspired outfit. You have Grayskull in the background, and then you have Trapjaw coming out of the gate area, or the ramp area, the moat area of Grayskull with his blaster, and you can see all the Mousers around him. And then you can see 1 of 4 again in the bottom for the Mouser, or for Metal Botto, which is basically metal head mashed with Roboto. And then you have insert Mouser arm in, or insert Mouser into arm. Also, just a side note, when you do open the box, there is a sort of another indication of what you do with the accessories. I'm not sure if it's on both sides, but it was on the side that I opened. And then you have really cool artwork of Mouse-jaw on the side of the box. So it is not too bad a set. We will get into the figure in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the box out of the way. Oh yeah, you have all the legally stuff on the bottom. And just so you can see the top of the box, you have the Turtles of Grayskull logo, which is done in the Masters of the Universe style. And then you got Mouse-jaw, evil and armed with Mouser.
You'll never make it, Trapjaw.
I don't see how you were gonna stop me.
Now I do have these Mouser attachments attached to them, which I will take the parts off in a little bit. But what we're going to do first is going to bring in the old tape measure, so we can measure him. So he should stand around 6 inches with the legs fully straightened out. He can stand in the 5.5 inch scale if you want to kind of bend his knees a bit and have that kind of classic Motu pose. So I'm going to remove the Mouser parts first, and we'll run through that. He does come with that blast effect as well. Actually, before I do the Mouser parts, I'll go through the Build-A-Figure parts that he comes with. So he comes with the arm, the right arm for Metal Bottle, whatever way you want to pronounce it. So just like with the other figures in the line, this has that plug-in feature where you will assemble them so the arms will be separate, torso will be separate, maybe the head, well, I'm assuming the head and torso will come together, and the legs will be a separate piece. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then for this, you have the same standard Roboto attachments. So you have the dual laser cannon, you have the axe, and you have the grabby claw. And just like with actually, this is different to Roboto in the sense that his hand isn't the spot where you put the attachments onto. He has plug holes for you to attach those attachments to. And then he has this piece as well, which is for attaching the attachment part to the hand if you want to. So it will plug in the hand. It gives you that extra point. So you can actually attach one of these attachments. It makes the hand even longer again, but you have that attachment point for attaching one of the accessories onto that. And then you have the others. They do kind of show them just kind of stored on the arm or just poking off them. So it is a kind of an interesting look. Overall, he will be kind of interesting to see how he looks when he's built. But you have that option. So just going to pop that out. One thing to note with the attachment piece for the arm or for the wrist, it doesn't have the wrist hinge like the standard hand does. So just be wary of that. If you do plug this in, try and move it, it won't have that hinge. But you'll probably have to wait till you get all the parts to Metoboto.
Watch how my mouser follows its nose to the rat.
We'll move on to his other accessory, which is his mouser. So the mouser is actually quite nicely done. It comes in 3 parts. So well, technically 4 if you include the blast effect. So you have a left and right leg, which just plug in. And as you saw earlier, they can be stored on Trapjaw's parts. So it does have an opening jaw. The only one thing I will say about it is the head is kind of permanently at this kind of angle. The only way you could get around that is if you were to cut this cannon piece off. You would get more of an arch on the thing, but then you wouldn't be able to attach the weapons. It does have a slight bit of a spring to it, I think, so the head kind of extends out a bit and can be pushed in. I think that's as far out as the head will go, but there's a bit of an extension on that. And then just for the blast effect, you just plug it straight into the mouth of the mouser, into where the cannon barrel is, and it simulates it's supposed to be firing. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just plug the blast effect straight into his hand, and you have the hand effect, or the blast effect for the arm as well. So you have that too. So it's not too bad a figure. He's pretty nice. I do have some of the other figures. Oh, there is articulation on the mouser as well. So obviously you have the hinge or the swivels for where you attach to the legs, but there is actually a hinge on the foot as well, so you kind of get the head a bit higher up if you want to. And let me just see if I can get this thing standing up in the background, so you can get it at a really awkward angle standing up, or if you want to just kind of a more natural mouser pose, you can have it kind of standing like that as well. So it's up to yourself. You can even put the attachment on, or the blast effect on the mouth when it's not used as the arm piece, but it will make it top heavy, so just be wary of that. So you would have to kind of really angle it up like he's firing into the sky, and he will stand, but with this blast effect in, it will be very top heavy, but you can do it without it. So that moves us on to Trapjaw.
Trapjaw!
Now!
So I think the easiest thing to do is do a comparison first. So this is based on the Origins version of Trapjaw, and here is the original version. You can see the newer one does stand a bit taller than him. But if I stand him back to back, I think the only reason he stands nearly the same height is because of that roundy bit on the top of his head. I don't think this uses the new body box. I think it's just the way the legs are designed. They're taller. Even if I was to completely straighten out this guy's legs, I don't think he has that height to him. No, I think he still stands just roughly a small bit ever so slightly smaller than him. Or maybe he's about the same height. It's hard to tell from this angle because I'm looking down. I'm not looking directly at them. So from my point of view, he looks a little smaller, but on camera, he might actually be exactly the same scale. But if you have the attachments for original, they should fit the new one. So they should fit Mouse-jaw. So if you want to give them the original guys attachments like the laser cannon or the hook or the pincher claw, you can do that. I'm not sure if you need to. The arms are different. The only piece that I can see that seems to be reused between the two of these is the lower legs. They seem to be the same sculpt. Everything else, maybe the lower legs and the legs up to the feet basically are the same. And the body buck. Actually, no, the body buck is different because on the original one, this armor plate on his right shoulder is actually sculpted onto the body. It's not a separate part. On some of the later versions, this was a separate piece that you could take off. The belt isn't the same either. The belt, even though it has a similar thing for attaching the attachments to it, you can see even the icon is different. You have a turtle shell with skull and crossbone, or with crossbones behind it, where you have a skull and crossbones for the original. So he does have a lot of differences. He also has a grip hand for his other hand instead of the open palm like a lot of the figures have. So that is a nice nod as well. Unfortunately, because it's done in a way darker blue, as you can see, the blue is a lot more dark compared to the original guys. You can't really transfer the swap parts around on them, which is a bit of a shame. If they had done it in the same kind of lightish blue tone that the original one was, you could swap parts. You can swap the heads. Actually, no, you can't even swap the heads because the head in this guy, if I remember correctly, is on a weird swivel. The body design for this guy is actually different to a standard Origins figure. The head isn't on that kind of ball joint. It's on a swivel. So it'd be hard to even swap the heads around as well, which is a shame. The later version of him, I think, has a ball jointed head. So you should be able to do that, the comic back version. Unfortunately, I don't have that one at the moment. But articulation-wise, you have the standard Masters of the Universe Origins articulations. The arm can rotate around. It will kind of spin out a bit to get clearance. You do have a hinge on it for both arms, so you can get this one up that much. This one is hindered because of the way it's designed, but you can get it up a small bit. It has the elbow joint, a single joint elbow. Same with the left arm, and the left wrist has that hinge joint. So it's a standard kind of moto joint. Head, again, as I said, is on a ball joint. You have the jaw functionality, just like with the other version. You can open the jaw a bit and close it. It has the Mouser designed head, which is a really cool nod. He does have a waist swivel. He does have legs that can kind of split out that much. I really don't like doing it much on the figures. They can kick forward. The joints are very tight on mine, so I'm a bit wary about moving it. He does have a single jointed knee. He does have the boot cut, just like the other figures. He does have rocker ankles, but because of the way the feet are designed, like, you can see the joint in there, but you can't really utilize it that much because everything bounces off the cuffs on the ankles, so you don't get much of a way of positioning for the ankles or the feet. But he does have Mouser designed feet, so it is a kind of a nice cool nod as well. So overall, he is a pretty good figure. So I'm just going to bring in, because I have a sort of comparison as well for the Mouser. So this is the Super 7 Mouser that came with the Baxter Stockman figure. It is, if I just move it back a bit, you can be able to see it a bit better. It is actually almost the same size as this new one. Grab the cannon piece out. So it is almost the same size as the new one, which is kind of cool. And then the other one, only other Mousers that have these small ones, they were like a multi-pack of, like, I think it was 8 of them for the one. It was the 2005. It was the CG animated line. but like they're way smaller. I'm not even sure if that's on screen, but they are way smaller. You could technically, if you have this pack of them, you could use them as a sort of a micro nanobot style version of the Mouser and have them with this one as well. I would love to see them do like maybe a pack of these, so you have the option of having multiple, because the only way to get this one is with this Mouse-jaw, and you only get the one. And just to do the gimmick that he's supposed to be known for, we'll attach the legs back onto the side. So the legs that slide into these pegs at the side, and you can kind of position them whichever way you want, out of the way or even up that way. It's up to yourself. So, and then you have a peg on the back of the Mouser, just pegs in, and you have the Mouser like that. The one thing that is kind of annoying is because this isn't articulated here, you can't really set it to look completely forward unless you have it like that, and it's going to be at an angle every time you're firing it. But you can put it together so it looks like he's firing the Mouser, which is pretty cool. Doesn't look too bad. It's just a shame that there isn't that extra articulation point on just the base of the head of the Mouser, so you could kind of angle it down or angle it up a bit better. You do get some angling on it, or some positioning, but it's not what you would expect. I think mainly it's because of this barrel gets in the way. If the barrel wasn't in the way, you could actually position the head a bit better. But overall, it is what it is, and he is a pretty cool addition to the, not only the Masters of the Universe line, but the whole crossover line in general. I am looking forward to picking up some of the other figures. As I said, I do have some of the Wave 1 figures, so I have Donnie, Leo, and Man-at-Arms. I didn't get the He-Man, the mutated He-Man, but I will pick him up at some point, and I have pretty much everyone else that I could find pre-orders for pre-ordered. The only one I haven't managed to get a pre-order on or see it anywhere is the Krang figure, which looks really cool. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review for the Mouse-jaw or Trapjaw crossover, if you want to call it that. He is pretty cool, so I do recommend picking him up. I picked this guy up at Big Bad Toy Store. He should be available on their site for either available now or it might be up for pre-order again. I know He-Man was available. They actually did a thing where they had the US release version of these, which came with a mini comic which had English voice bubbles, and then there was a international version, which is the version that has no speech bubbles in the mini comic that comes with it, which is kind of annoying because then you don't know what's going on in the storyline. You can follow the images, but like if you're not too familiar with characters and stuff, you won't know what's going on. So the US version of the characters or the character back is pretty cool. So there you go, guys. I do believe this guy came with a card as well, or a mini comic. I can't remember if it was the same mini comic. I can't find it, unfortunately, but there was something packed in behind him on the box, and I can't remember if it was just a cardstock image of him or if it was the mini comic, Wave 1 mini comic, like the rest of the Wave 1 figures. But if I'm going through my accessory set and see what's there, I'll throw in a nod to it, or an extra piece at the end of either this video or the next video for the next review for one of the figures from this line. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers!